Breaking news. Ford CEO Jim Farley just admitted on live television they have 6,000 empty service bays across America and they cannot fix your car. This is not a hypothetical shortage. It is a visceral, operational collapse happening in real time. Right now, 75,000 mechanics are walking away from the industry every single year, a relentless brain drain that is hollowing out the backbone of automotive service. Your $75,000 truck, your family SUV, your daily driver, any of them could be sitting at the dealership for weeks with no one to repair it. And this isn't just a Ford problem. This crisis is metastasizing through every single dealership across America and Canada. The system, as we know it, is collapsing. And if you own a car, you need to hear this right now. Let's start with the numbers, the cold, hard statistics that should terrify every car owner. According to industry analysts, we need 76,000 new mechanics every single year just to replace retirees and keep pace with demand. We are not even close to filling that gap. Data from the National Automobile Dealers Association and the TechForce Foundation paints a grim picture. Our trade schools are graduating only a fraction of the technicians required, but the reality is even worse than the official figures suggest. Ford CEO Jim Farley, in a moment of startling candor on Yahoo Finance, admitted there are approximately 600,000 unfilled mechanic positions across North America. Let that number sink in. 600,000. Veteran mechanics like Lance, who has been in the trenches for years, argue that number is a conservative estimate. Walk into any Ford, Toyota, Chevy, or Honda dealership service department right now, and you will witness the same haunting sight: empty service bays. These bays are not idle due to a lack of work. On the contrary, there is more diagnostic and repair work than ever before. They sit empty because there are no mechanics willing to do it. A pivotal 2024 J.D. Power study revealed a watershed moment. For the first time ever, the number one reason customers are abandoning dealerships for independent repair shops is wait times. You simply cannot get an appointment. Your car becomes a stranded asset, sitting for weeks, and when it is finally looked at, the bill is often astronomical due to the premium placed on scarce labor. This is a five-alarm fire, and it is burning down the entire automotive service industry as we speak. The admission from Ford's leadership was a shock to the system. Farley stated bluntly, "This morning when I woke up, there was 6,000 bays in our dealerships with no technician, so customers can't get their car fixed." He confirmed the average wait is 2 weeks, clarifying, "Not because we don't have the parts, we don't have the mechanics." Picture this devastating scenario. Your $75,000 Ford F-150 suffers a major failure. You arrange a tow to the dealership. They have a vacant bay, a fully equipped lift, and all the specialized tools, but there is no mechanic to diagnose or repair it. That service bay remains a silent, useless monument to the shortage, while you continue making $1,500 monthly payments on a truck that is nothing more than a stationary, depreciating liability. Farley claimed these jobs can pay up to $120,000 a year, framing it as a lucrative opportunity. So why then aren't people lining up? The answer arrived in a viral response video from mechanic Wojtek Ivanovich, who, honestly, just perfectly deconstructed the cruel reality. In a sarcastic mimicry of a dealership manager, he laid bare the root cause. "We need you to do this oil pan gasket on this F-250. You have to pull the cab off of the frame to do it, and it's under warranty, so it pays like 0.6. This crisis is not confined to Ford. It is an industry-wide collapse driven by a universally broken model. Veteran mechanics explain that we are witnessing a catastrophic brain drain. When a technician with 30 years of experience walks away, they take with them an irreplaceable vault of knowledge. The ability to diagnose a problem by sound, the tricks for accessing a hidden component, the institutional memory that prevents costly mistakes. Dealerships often fail to comprehend this value, viewing such veterans merely as a line-item cost. When they leave, they are replaced by inexperienced technicians who lack that deep knowledge, leading to misdiagnoses, incorrect parts, orders, and comebacks. The customer ultimately pays for this erosion of expertise, both in soaring costs and in repeated visits for the same unresolved issue. A glance at recent dealership service reviews reveals a torrent of negativity on Google and forums, a direct reflection of this decay in quality and care stemming from the industry's refusal to compensate technicians fairly. The problem is compounded by vehicle design and corporate policy. Ford, often dubbed the recall king, frequently issues recalls and technical service bulletins that swamp dealerships with low-paying warranty work. Mechanics are drowning in complex repairs that do not pay a living wage. Furthermore, the industry habit of completely redesigning vehicle platforms every few years means component locations and repair procedures change radically, but the flat-rate labor times do not adjust accordingly. A job that took 2 hours on an old model may now take 4 due to new complexities, but the technician is still paid for 2. They lose money on every job, creating a powerful financial disincentive to stay in the profession. So, this brings us to the great lie, the advertised $125,000 salary. Automakers and dealerships, they plaster this number on recruitment posters and trade school brochures just to lure in new talent. But the reality, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, is a median wage of $47,770, less than half the promoted figure. How is this staggering disparity possible? Well, the answer lies in the predatory compensation structure known as flat-rate pay, which is perhaps the most exploitative system in any skilled trade today. Here is how the flat-rate trap works, and why it is, honestly, eviscerating the workforce. Every repair has a so-called book time set by the manufacturer. For example, if replacing a water pump is booked at 2.5 hours, a technician who completes it in 1.5 hours still gets paid for 2.5. This is the beat-the-clock fantasy sold to newcomers. But, that book time assumes a pristine, brand-new vehicle in a perfect environment. The reality: it's a rusted 7-year-old truck with 90,000 miles of winter road salt. The first bolt shears off, and now you're spending an hour just to extract it. Then, a replacement part doesn't fit, so you have to modify it. What was a 2.5-hour job in the manual suddenly becomes a 5-hour ordeal of skilled problem-solving. The pay, though, remains 2.5 hours. The technician has just donated 2.5 hours of their life to the dealership for free. In a slow week, a tech might work a 40-hour week but only flag 20 hours of pay, which means they're effectively earning below minimum wage. As veteran tech Lance Mechanic explains, the smarter you are, the less money you make. The most skilled diagnosticians get stuck with the most time-consuming, complex problems that pay the fewest flat-rate hours. To even approach the advertised 6-figure income, a technician must become what Lance calls a degenerate, skipping breaks, working through pain, and sacrificing any work-life balance, a pace that leads inevitably to burnout. The situation becomes even more insidious with warranty work. When your car is under warranty, the repair is free for you, but the manufacturer reimburses the dealership at a reduced dictated labor rate. These corporations are notorious for arbitrarily slashing book times after a repair becomes common, claiming a more efficient procedure. Overnight, the pay for the same job drops by 30%, directly cutting the technician's income. The bitter irony is that the most complex, bug-ridden issues, glitchy infotainment systems, faulty advanced driver assistance sensors, experimental hybrid powertrains, typically fail under warranty. So, a master technician spends their day performing electrical wizardry for poverty-level flat-rate pay, while a less experienced tech earns more by doing straightforward brake jobs, and if that complex repair has a comeback, the technician must fix it again for free, absorbing the financial penalty for a defective part, or flawed engineering. Beyond the predatory pay, there's a whole cascade of hidden costs that makes this career unsustainable. Technicians are required to finance their own tools, which adds up to a $50,000 to $100,000 investment over a career, often starting with crippling debt from tool trucks that visit weekly. In effect, they are personally bankrolling the dealership's operational capacity. The physical toll is immense: years of kneeling on concrete, exposure to toxic chemicals, and repetitive strain lead to chronic pain, ruined joints, and occupational injuries by mid-career. The mental toll is a constant pressure cooker of efficiency metrics, service writer demands, and the desperate daily math of just trying to earn a livable wage. You, the car owner, are paying the price for this systemic failure. Wait times are exploding, labor rates are skyrocketing past $150 an hour with little of that reaching the technician, and trust is evaporating. Customers are fleeing to independent shops not just for cost, but for basic respect and transparency. With the average vehicle age at a record 12.6 years, demand for repairs is higher than ever, yet the dealership service model is imploding from within. It shattered the trust of its essential employees, and now it is losing the trust of its customers.